Hey, what's up everyone? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you live on the same planet as me, then basically the whole world is now at home. Even if you're not working from home, then you're probably sitting a lot, just like everyone else in the world right now. So I thought it might be a good idea to put out a video, what to do when you're sitting a lot, how to prevent that back pain that some of you get throughout the day or towards the evening. I want to keep this pretty short and sweet, just giving you a couple of exercises you can do throughout. So you take a break from sitting, do those exercises, and then you can go back to your desk. But make sure you stick around until the very end of this video. I will share with you some bonus tips on different positions, seating positions, standing, all kinds of different things for your work, so that when you go back to your computer, if you are working from home or if you're sitting again, then you can do some alternative positions there. Especially if you are experiencing back pain, then you need to know that back pain often comes from not using your core enough or your glutes, which is very normal if you're sitting a lot and you're mostly at home. You can't just go on like a nice long walk and use those glutes or do anything else to use your core a lot. So it helps for sure if you do any of our videos on this channel. We recommend doing those every day. But even if you do 1 hour of yoga on your mat every single day and then you're sitting for 5-6 hours or so at home, then still you might feel it in your back. So it's good to take a break, come to these exercises, and then go back to whatever you're doing. We'll begin with just standing up. So leave your desk or leave your couch or wherever you are watching this. So let's all stand up. And you just start to kind of bounce a little bit on the toes, kind of loosening everything up. It's also oftentimes nice to take a break from what you're currently doing with your work, or if you're just hanging out or reading, to kind of just switch it up, clear the mind a bit. Just a couple more bounces like this. Isn't it fun? Just keep it going. Invite your family over if they just come in and see you bounce. Let's all bounce for a little bit. You're doing a bounce party. Even make some circles. Bring the arms in. Great. Now let's come just to a standing position. I'm here on my mat, but really you don't need any mat. Fold forward and down. Keep the knees bent. And so you want to grab opposite elbows. You can also grab behind your head, and you just round your back, fold down. This might feel really nice and kind of tight and stiff if you have been sitting for quite a bit and now you're doing all this stuff here with me. So give it some time, focus on the breath, nice and slow through the nose. If you want to straighten your legs more because you don't feel much, of course you can go ahead and do that too. Can rock side to side, couple more breaths. So now we're just opening up and lengthening and stretching the back body. You're already, when you're sitting in kind of this rounded position with your spine, so it's not very different, but we're now lengthening the hamstrings, also stretching the back. Very good. So now let's come down onto all fours. I said you need a strong core for a healthy body, especially if you're sitting. Really, we believe that the sitting is the new smoking. It's just so bad for your body, and it's good to be active and move oftentimes. And most of us just want to do some kind of activity and sports or yoga classes to counter all that sitting, the driving, the sitting at your desk or sitting at home. It's just already a really good idea to be active, only to counter all that sitting. And now let's work on the core, find some stability in the core, actually the entire body. We will also engage the glutes. So now we're all coming into a forearm plank. You can set the knees down if you want, and I want you to try to bring the forearms parallel to another, so that, of course, if you really cannot do it any other way, then bring the hands together or the hands close together, but try to get this external rotation in the shoulders. forearms parallel to another. You can set the knees down if you want, but I want you to push away, press into the elbows, press into the forearms, kind of tuck your tailbone, round your back a little bit, and then stay here. Squeeze your butt cheeks as much as possible. For those of you that want to lift the knees up, let's go ahead and let's just hold this for about 30 seconds. So you're pressing into the forearms, the elbows, focus on the breath, nice and slow through the nose. Squeeze the butt cheeks, tuck your tailbone. Last 3 breaths. Last one. Very good. Release the hips down. Let's come into a Sphinx pose. So you are still on the forearms, but you might want to slide the forearms more forward so that the elbows are right below the shoulders. Bring the feet wider apart. Again, engage your glutes. Look straight ahead or somewhere down to the ground. Now you're arching the back, finding some more extension in the spine, which is really the opposite of what you are doing when you are sitting. That's why we're doing it. Just so great to counter that sitting. Keep the glutes engaged, breath soft. Now some of you don't feel much here, and if you want to go deeper, if you are one of these people, then you press into the palms and straighten your arms for seal pose, maybe just halfway. Or fully, depends. No right or wrong here, nothing better about going deeper into this. Just some people maybe do a lot of yoga or are kind of more open in the back and they want to take this variation. But if you are with the forearms on the ground, that's perfect. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Keep the glutes engaged. Last deep breath in. And exhale, release everything down. Very good. Bring your forehead onto your forearms or onto the ground. Just shake out the hips left and right. Very good. Let's push yourself up to a seated position and then bring the legs through. We're coming with the hips down. We're sitting down on the ground. Bring those feet together for butterfly pose. So now you can go with the soles of the feet together, but then you decide if you want to go more forward or if you want to go closer to the hips. Grab the feet and then fold forward and down, round your back. So for you this might look like this, and you already feel it in your back and in your lower back and your outer hips, your inner thighs as well. And for some you want to go deeper and more forward. That's perfectly fine. We're just taking a little break from sitting, just a little break from work, so you're doing amazing. It's not a full class or any kind of workout or anything. We're just doing something to counter that sitting that you have done so far today. So I encourage you to take a break, hopefully with me, so you watch this video again every few hours. So if you're sitting for an hour or two, then do this. And then you can go back to your work or sitting or whatever you're doing. And then after 2 hours or so, again, back to this one. A couple more breaths here. If you find this helpful, we would love it if you forward this to your friends or to your coworkers. We're all in the same boat now. We're all at home. The couch is there. It's so comfortable. You just sit down, you lay down, you hang out there for a little bit, and you're sitting again. I know how it is. We're all in this together right now. This is this interesting phase that the world is in right now. We're actually all in this together and we're all doing kind of the same thing. Alright, very good. Let's release. Let's come onto the back. Almost done here. Now cross that right ankle over the left thigh. Now you see this triangle you create with the right leg. Use your right hand to reach through, and then you can grab behind the left leg, or you grab the left shin. So this is the deeper version here if you feel open enough for it. Otherwise, grab behind the leg. Now keep both feet flexed. That means the toes are pointing towards the knees. And then you relax the head down, pull your legs towards your chest. What we're targeting here now is the right outer hip and also the right piriformis. I just want you to feel that, breathe into that part of your body. We're only here for 5 breaths. Very good. Now release that left foot down to the ground. You can keep the legs as they are. Just bring the legs over to the left side all the way down to the ground. And before you do that, you scoot your hips a little bit more to the right. And then you bring the legs down. Very good. You might hear some popping or some cracking sounds from the spine, but nothing's breaking. It's all good. Extend the right arm away from you. Keep that right knee pointing upwards, so it tends to maybe come closer towards you. Try to do the opposite, so it's still pointing upwards. A couple breaths here. Really nice to do a twist, especially when you're seated. And you can also do a seated twist while you are sitting on your chair, for example. I was always the guy at the office when I used to work in my software tech job that was sitting in all these weird positions on my chair and doing all these stretching things throughout the workday. So it's fine, people get used to it. They're like, oh yeah, that's the guy that's into yoga. Maybe that's you. It's all good. Alright, let's release, come back to center. Use your left hand to help your legs back to center. Let's switch sides, both feet down to the ground first. Then you cross that left ankle or the shin over the right thigh. You see that triangle again, you lift the foot up, you reach through, grab behind the right leg or grab the right shin. Keep those feet flexed, very important. Relax the head down, pull those legs towards your chest. Keep the breath going, 5 breaths here. And again, we're not looking for going deep into this, doing or making a full practice out of this. Of course you can. There's a ton of videos on this channel where you can just click and start a full hour class if you want. But again, all we're doing is just countering that sitting and feeling better in the body. I don't know about you, but at least for me, if I sit a lot, I feel kind of tight and stiff and restricted and not so well. So I just like to move and do those things in between and then sit down again. Alright, release that right foot down. Keep the legs as they are. Scoot the hips to the left and then bring the legs over to the right side, all the way down to the ground. Extend your left arm away from you. That left knee is still pointing upwards. Couple breaths. There's of course a lot more that you can do with the body, but this is just a quick session, a quick fix to feel better. Alright, very good. Use your right hand, help your legs back to center. Bring both feet down to the ground. And then let's rock up and come into a seated position again. Alright, so I brought this chair with me here and a pillow. Thank you for sticking around until the very end. Now I have some bonus tips for you, for your position that you can come into to sit or to work or to stand, or just how to switch it up to make the whole being at home or working from home thing a little bit healthier and better for your body. So obviously the first one is to sit on your chair. That's one that you are probably already doing, and I want to encourage you to sit more towards the edge of the chair so that your pelvis actually tilts and that you can sit nice and straight with the spine. When you do that and the pelvis tilts that way, it's very hard to bend at the bottom of your spine, and you kind of cannot really round your back all the way down to the bottom. So it's easier and more helpful to keep the spine nice and straight. So this is how you could sit at your desk, or let's say the desk. What I like to do sometimes is to bring that right ankle or the shin over the thigh, just like we did on the back. And so I kind of work like this. And then of course you want to switch it up and do both sides. This could be a little bit of a working position, but usually it's just for like maybe 10 minutes or so, and then you want to again switch it up. What you want to avoid is sitting cross-legged like this. Over time can be very bad for your back, and a lot of women that experience lower back pain could be one cause or one reason why they have that back pain, because of sitting a lot like this. But guys do it too, so avoid this position. And of course there could be many more reasons why you are experiencing back pain. Back pain could be previous injuries, or just how you are using your body, or overusing it or underusing it for years. And so now being at home so much could just trigger that back pain for you, but it actually has been leading up for many years, and now just sitting a lot is the final thing that was missing to cause you that pain. So I encourage you to look into, or to look deeper into your lifestyle and what you're doing, your activities and everything. And of course highly recommend starting a yoga practice, a beginner practice. Doesn't need to be anything strong, doesn't need to be anything fancy, but just moving the body every day and learning how to breathe better and deeper obviously is very, very helpful. And something that no matter what age you are, you can do until you're very, very old. Alright, so this is the first one. Then you can of course sit on the ground, so that's something I like to do as well. So if you have a coffee table, or even use your chair like this, you can sit on the ground with crossed legs. If that's uncomfortable for you and you're not really used to sitting on the ground, which a lot of us are not used to, you can sit on a pillow or two just to elevate the hips. It's the same as sitting on the edge of the chair, so that the pelvis tilts and the spine is nice and long. So it's a lot easier in this position to kind of sit upright and then work like this. You want to kind of have the arms bent 90 degrees, so this would be too high for me to work on. You kind of want to have some lower table or coffee table, or a couple of pillows or something, or books stacked if you are working on your laptop, and kind of work like this. This is also not only good for working on your laptop, but also if you watch TV or read or just hang out, this position is very nice. Alright, if that doesn't feel good, or if you want to switch it up, you can rotate between all of these. You can sit on your heels, but for most of us that's kind of uncomfortable to sit like this and bend the knees, the legs so much. So you want to elevate the hips with a couple of pillows. It helps already for me to put one pillow between my butt and my heels, and kind of sit like this. And if you have a surface, you can work there, or just sit there, read, watch, whatever you're doing, talk to friends. It's all good in this position as well. Cool. So the next one I would like to share with you is kneeling. So your hips are actually lifted, but this is a nice one where you actually use your glutes now for support, and this is a nice position here to work and sit, or switch it up, or kneel I should say. It's a nice one to come into. Usually I cannot stay in this one for too long, but it's good to rotate through and do this one as well. You might want to be in it for like 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and you probably have enough, and then you go to the next one, which obviously is standing. So if you have the option to stand, that's really, really good. A lot of offices nowadays have standing desks, not all of them do, but I'm sure at home you can build something where you can stand, like on your desk, stack up a couple of books so you can elevate everything a little bit more, and then stand at your desk or at your kitchen counter or something like that. And you want to avoid standing like on one leg, so that the other foot is like really light. Like we do the stand a lot where you just shift onto one leg and kind of stand like that. You want to avoid standing there for a long time, so you actually want to find a very even and grounding stance, just like as if you're giving a presentation. You want to like stand a little bit wider than the hips and stand tall, and then that's a good position to work. What you can also do is, if you have something in front of you, a little bit lower with the height than this chair, but you kind of want to elevate one foot, so you can shift the weight into one foot, but not to the sides. It's more like forward and back. So you're kind of standing like this. You have your foot on something like that, like you know, when you go to a bar and then they have this thing where you can rest your foot. Same thing. So this is a nice standing position. Or just kind of like a lunge. You bring one foot forward and one foot back, kind of like this. And that's also how you can work and stand. And then of course you switch sides. So there's like 4 or 5 different positions you can rotate through. Probably sitting will still be the one where you are in the most of the time, and the longest, sitting on the chair. I really encourage you to sit on the ground, or even sit cross-legged on your chair. I was always the guy at my office that was sitting cross-legged, took the shoes off at the office, and then sat cross-legged on my office chair. Of course, now you're at home, so no one cares if you're wearing pajamas all day, sitting cross-legged however you want on your chair. It's all good. I hope you found this helpful. It's very important during this time at home to stay safe, especially if you're working sitting a lot. It's such a natural tendency to do that, so please do this video a lot. Do it in between every 2-3 hours, however often you want. Share it with your friends if you find this in any way useful. And of course, I encourage you to check out the other videos in this channel. There's a lot of yoga classes, over 100 classes already for free here on this channel, so just check that out. Maybe start a morning yoga practice, morning or daily movement practice. That's really the best thing to prevent any kind of pain or any aches in your body. Thank you so much for watching, staying with me until the very end, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe.